You said this was a commercial project, unlike your first film, but I didn't really see a big difference. I think this felt like a very personally invested work. It seemed like a personal film in terms of the emotional investment. So, can you tell us how you came to make this film? Was it something that was offered to you? I mean, it's adapted from a webtoon, but was it offered to you, or was it something that you sought out to do?
한국에서는 굉장히 이제 제가 만들었던 첫 번째와 두 번째 작품이 되게 다르다고들 이렇게 많이 느껴서 제가 그렇게 인사할 때 설명을 드렸던 거고요. 그 김봉남 사인석의 정말 같은 경우는 저예산으로 만들어서 그 이야기에 더 충실하려고 했던 거고, 이번 작품 같은 경우는 더 많은 사람들이 좋아할 수 있는 작품을 만들려고 노력했고, 많은 사람들의 의견을 모아서 만들었고, 그런 점이 차이점입니다.
In Korea, I was told that my first feature and this one felt so different. That's why I said that they would be quite different during the intro. And Bedeviled, my first feature, was a low-budget film, and I tried to focus on the story. And this one, I tried to satisfy a more audience, and this is how I came to it.
그리고 과정은 이제 방금 말했듯이 이제 웹툰 원작의 영화를 이제 그 해당 영화사에서 기획하고 있었고, 거기에 이제 감독 제안이 들어와서 참여하게 됐습니다.
And the production company was developing the story from the webcomic, and I was offered the job to direct this film.
Well, one thing that struck me as being oddly similar between the two films that you've made is the focus in this film, and especially in the first half, on this kind of very insular community with its cast of characters. It stays within this very limited world of this little village. And that was the entire setting for your first film, was this isolated, insular community.
그렇게 봐주시니까 고마운 것 같아요. 그러니까 아무래도 그 국내에서 한국에서 보는 것과 외국에서 보는 것에 좀 다른 점을 저도 지금 이제 느끼고 있는 중인데, 김봉남과 물론 다른 점도 있지만 지금 말씀하신 것처럼 공통점도 분명히 있고, 그리고 자기 의지대로 살지 못하는 인간의 모습을 그렸다는 점에서 또 그 인간의 존엄성이 훼손됐을 때 일어나는 그런 일들에 대해서 다뤘다는 점에서 저도 비슷한 영화라고 생각합니다.
I feel grateful about your comment, and now I do feel that the reaction in South Korea and here in the US are quite different, and I do agree that there is similarity between this and my first feature. And not only this film and the first feature were about the isolated community, but also they both dealt with the people who could not live their lives as they wanted.
In my limited experience of Korean thrillers and action films. Up until now, up until this year, I really haven't seen any that dealt with the conflict between North Korea and South Korea. And this year we showed two films just in this festival, The Berlin File and this film, in which the same idea of North Korean spies being threatened by their own side, having to eventually go to war with their own side, has come up. And I'm just curious as to whether there's a new emphasis on adding to genre films the whole issue of the divided country, or whether it's just that I've only seen, you know, unrepresentative examples of this of the genre.
저희 영화가 만들어질 때 그런 북파 공작원들에 관한 영화가 한 7편이 동시에 기획이 되고 막 촬영이 들어가고 그랬었어요. 그래서 한국에서는 그 되게 특이한 경우라고도 할 수 있는데, 그런데 이제 나오는 그 간첩들의 공작원들의 그 뭐 상황이라든가 캐릭터들이라든가 이게 전부 다 달라서 그 북한의 그 북파 공작원들을 또 북한 사람들을 바라보는 시각이 굉장히 많이 다양해졌다는 것이 이제 변화된 점이라고 할 수 있고, 그것을 이제 또 영화적인 소재로 또 더 다양하게 그 해석하지 않으면은 너무 계속 그 상투적인 게 되니까, 그런 점에서 계속 새로운 것을 찾고 있다 보니까 이렇게 변화된 그 모습이 보이는 것 같아요.
When this film was being developed, there were actually 7 other films being developed as well, and all of them about North Korean spies. And all the spies in those projects were quite different, for that matter. And the perspective towards the North Korean spies has been changed throughout the years, and I think recently the need for a new perspective towards those spies have been more desperate and necessary.
남북 관계가 좀 더 지금 몇 년간 전보다 좀 악화됐었는데, 그런 것도 아마 영화 제작에 영향을 좀 끼치는 것 같습니다.
And the relationship between North Korea and South have become a bit more hostile, and I think such political status do influence the films that are being made in South Korea.